So I'm checking out Reddit like I always do, I guess, under the different headings. And I don't look at the salacious stuff. I just look at like things that talk about stuff that matters or kind of matters. Things that are like that give you a boost or they people are having a problem with something and they're asking for guidance or they're just explaining their problem because they want to complain to somebody. Reddit's great for that. Especially the transgender community, because it's so hard to find people who understand what you're dealing with. So Reddit's a great resource for that if you avoid all the adult sex garbage. Don't go into that stuff. But one person put a post and they were complaining about Rose of Dawn, who's a adamant transgender YouTuber, and apparently, according to her, non-binary people are just gay men who are trying to get in on the transaction. Like, bite me. You know how much easier my life would be if I was just a gay man? That would be so much simpler. I mean, it would suck for my wife, but as far as like acceptance from the community and stuff, oh, way, way easier. That nobody's caring what bathroom I'm going into because I'd be going to the men's and it would look fine and no one would care, right? Uh, So being a gay man would be much easier than being a non-binary transgender person, in my opinion. Man, I never tried being a gay man, so I guess I don't really know. But it doesn't seem like it's the same level of complication. Um, the problem with the transgender community is there's 50 shades of trans. I've used that phrase before, and I'll use it again. 50 shades of trans makes sense to me because we don't all transition the same way. We don't all have the same issues. And I was thinking back to the fifth grade, which is when I first started getting educated on this sort of subject. And they didn't mention this at all. But what they did do is they separated us into two separate rooms, boys in one room, girls in another room, and it was all the fifth grade, right? And so we all went to one classroom the one day, and they gave us a picture book with dirty pictures in it. They weren't even really dirty pictures; they were like stick men drawings almost of boys and girls and their full anatomy. And they were explaining that stuff to us at the age of 10, but not very well. Like I didn't understand anything what they're talking about. Um, it was all it was just a naughty book they gave me, whereas I knew. I took it home and hid it in my sock drawer because I didn't want mom to know about it. Now, mom probably did know about it. She probably signed a permission slip or something, but I have no idea. One thing I do remember about being in the fifth grade, about my transness coming out, I always wanted to go play on they had like a merry-go-round thing, but it was like ropes. Not ropes, but like a rubber thing at the end of a chain. And little girls would always run out there and they'd grab it, they'd spin around, 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 and they'd have lots of fun at it. And I always wanted to play on that thing, but little boys never ran to that thing. And so one day I thought, well, I'll get there first. The reason no other little boys are on there is because they don't see any other boys on there. So I'll be the first boy on there, and then other little boys will come join me. And that didn't happen. I was the first little boy on there, and then the girls were all mad because I was taking a spot from somebody, and I was in their way. But I was not made welcome there because that was a little girl's game essentially, and I was not a little girl according to them. Which, admittedly, according to me, I wasn't a little girl, but I was attracted to little girls' games. I remember I used to sit outside the library in the fifth grade because if you wanted to go to the library, you had to wait in line, and you had to be like number whatever. They only took 15 students, so if you were number 17, you didn't get to go. So I'm waiting for the line or to go into the library, and there'd be little girls in front of me and behind me, and they'd be playing little games like little patty cake games like Mrs. Mack, all dressed in black, silver buttons down her back, and you know the rhyme, or maybe you don't. I don't know, but it doesn't matter. And they're smacking their hands together and slapping their thighs, and it was just you know typical little girl's game that I loved. I only learned the nursery rhymes or the rhymes from watching the little girls play it. But of course, none of them would play with me because I wasn't a little girl. I wanted to play the game, but I couldn't, so I would just play the game with myself. I would smack my hands up against the wall, like just playing the patty cake game, but just smacking my hands and using the wall as a partner. It was sad and pathetic a little bit. But the important thing is it was me wanting to play little girls' games, even though I was a little boy. That's just one more, looking back on it now, it's just one more thing that I realized I was trans even then. I just didn't know how to tell anybody. And if I had told somebody, they would have thought I was crazy. I would have ended up in one of those conversion things or something, probably. Because my parents wouldn't have known any better, and they would have thought, well, he thinks he's a little girl. That's not going to work. We got to fix that. So I never did tell anybody when I was 10 or 4 or 8. I just always kept that up here. But it was always with me. I didn't experience the dysphoria that I've heard other people experience when they were children. I didn't get that till I was an adult. And then it took me a heck of a long time to figure out why and what that was. It just happened later in life is all. Anyway. So, yeah, Rosa Dawn and Blair White and any of those other professional transgenders who know what it means to be transgender and they know who isn't transgender because they've decided, yeah, screw them. They don't know what it's like living my life. It sucks transitioning this late in life. I wish I would have done this 10 years ago when I first realized what this was. But when I first went to a transgender group, they told me I didn't count and to go home. And just to stop trying. So I did. But they were wrong. And who are you to judge me? So, there's no such thing as trans enough. It varies from one individual to the next. We get there when we get there. And the sooner we get there, in my opinion, the better. Because dragging this out sucks. Anyway, that's all I got to say on that.